Hello, hello. I am so excited to record this episode. I am giving you a sneak peek of the Well Oiled Operations book. Now, this is book number 3 for me, but I feel like this is the book. And I feel like I love the other 2 books. They are great books, but like this book is the work that I am meant to do. And I am so excited, and I'll tell you this, writing a book is not an easy task. It is probably one of the tougher, bigger projects I have taken on. People say it's like giving birth, it's like having a pregnancy, right? All the things. And I 100% agree. What I want to share is when I say this is the book, at first I was thinking about, okay, well, was it a waste of my time for book number 1 and book number 2? And I had to come to this realization of like, book number 3, this one would never be what it is without the first 2 books, right? So I hope that encourages you to just keep putting things out there, even if you're not ready, because that practice of putting it out there and getting ready is how you get ready, right? So excited. The book, if you're hearing this or watching this, the book has officially launched. You can go to Amazon, type in Well Oiled Operations or my name, Stacy Tuschel, and you should see it pop up. Okay. So, what I wanted to do here is I wanted to actually read the introduction. Okay. I wanted you to get a taste of what the book was. And my hope is that, or I should say, my intent behind the book was not just to give you every podcast I've ever done and throw it in a book, but was really to pull out other stories or go deeper. I think the introduction, the reason I picked reading the introduction is because there is some vulnerability in here and some things that I've never gone into this much detail. And I think it will inspire some of you. I think it will motivate you. It will make you see that we are exactly the same. And if I can do what I'm doing, there is no reason you can't do the same thing. Okay. So do me the biggest favor. Go to Amazon, purchase Well Oiled Operations. Okay. My goal is to have it as cheap as I possibly can have it in all different aspects. Whether that's like if you have Kindle Unlimited, I actually love Kindle Unlimited. I think you pay like $11 a month or something, and you can rent up to 10 books at a time, not for free for the $11 you've just paid. So my goal is to get it on Kindle Unlimited, so you don't even have to pay for it if you have that. I just want you reading this book. I want it to change your life. Okay, you do not write a book to make money. Trust me, if you're writing a book to make money, you should stop because that's not what these are for. Okay. My goal is to change your life. In fact, I want to read the dedication to this book. I put to the stressed out CEO who just doesn't know there is another way to do business. It may be the norm, but it doesn't have to be your norm. Here at Well Oiled Operations, we don't do business stressed, and soon you won't either. Okay. So let's jump in. So this is the introduction of the book. So if you do buy the book, you can kind of skip the intro and go right to chapter 1. We all experience pivotal moments throughout our lives. After one happens, we are changed for good. Sometimes those moments are exciting and sometimes they're devastating. But after a while, you can start to see why it needed to happen and the ripple effect of that experience. One of these moments for me was my wedding day. It was a gorgeous event. It's been over 14 years, and there's not much I would change about that day. I still don't know how I pulled it off at the age of 23. There was an open bar with top shelf liquor, appetizers big enough to be the dinner, followed by a massive buffet, late night pizza and silver dollar sandwiches, a candy bar, and of course, a several tiered wedding cake. Everything was extravagant. All night long, family and friends gushed over all I had accomplished and built at such a young age that allowed me to host such a glamorous celebration. They were talking about my, air quotes, successful business. It had been 6 years since I had started teaching dance classes in my parents' backyard right out of high school. I took my passion and decided to start a competitive middle school team called the Junior Knights. The local high school mascot were the Knights. Now, the first year, I had 17 girls sign up. And within 3 years, I had over 100 children ranging in ages from 5 to 18. I did zero marketing. Moms referred other moms and their daughters invited their friends. We just kept growing year after year. And although a recession had just hit in 2008, our business didn't feel it. In fact, that was the year we built a new $1 million state of the art dance studio. From a wedding guest perspective, it appeared I had it all. Here's what they didn't know. Most of that wedding was put on a credit card with money I didn't have. I was secretly hoping we could pay it off with the cash we received from wedding gifts. Everyone thought I was running a very successful business. But what wasn't obvious was that I was the business. I did everything and held all the job titles. I was the dance teacher, the marketing manager, the head of the sales team of one, the finance department, the operations manager, the HR coordinator, and even the janitor when a 4-year-old clogged the toilet with a little bit too much TP. I was under the impression that this was par for the course when it came to small business ownership. I had a mentor who said, never leave a phone call unanswered, or they will just look in the yellow pages. Remember, this was pre-social media in the early 2000s, and they'll call the next person. I'm a naturally very competitive person, and I was also pretty broke at the time. So I took that advice very seriously. When I wasn't at the studio, I never missed a phone call, ever. So the morning of my wedding day, with my bridesmaids in a beautiful hotel suite, getting our hair and makeup done, my phone rings. Now, what kind of crazy person takes a phone call on their wedding day, right? Anyway, the phone rings. I get a pit in my stomach and I know I have to answer it. I can't have them call my competitor. I will lose this sale. I can't afford to lose this sale. But I don't want my bridesmaids to see how sad this is. I mean, truly pathetic. They'd be rolling their eyes for sure that I was so obsessed with my business that I'd even be working on my wedding day. So I quickly excused myself and I went into the attached bedroom to reply as quietly and professionally as possible. Thanks for calling the dance studio. How can I help you? The person calling had no idea that they'd been transferred to my cell. They believed had been calling the building. And here I am thinking, if I miss this call, I miss a sale. And it's actually the mom of a girl who's already enrolled, and she just wanted to update her credit card on file before it expired at the end of the month. I wanted to scream. I remember thinking, it's August 9th. Why are you calling 3 weeks before it's going to expire? Don't you know I'm getting married? But of course, I didn't say that, or she would really call my competitor. So I jotted down her credit card number on a napkin, super professional, I know, and I put it in my bag to deal with later. Okay, I'm lying. I wish I could say that at least the last part was true. Truth, as I had the client's credit card number on a napkin, of course I pulled out my computer because everybody brings their computer to their wedding day, right? I quickly updated her card and file, then ripped up the napkin and jumped back into hair and makeup like nothing had just happened. The videographer caught me on camera staring off in a daze, and she probably thought it was wedding jitters, when actually I was thinking, I can't keep doing this. This is not what I had signed up for. I didn't want to pretend to be successful anymore. I actually wanted to feel it. Now, I know you must be thinking, should I be taking advice from this woman? And I don't blame you. But trust me when I say that that wedding day was a huge turning point, a pivotal moment that changed my life, a breakdown that became my breakthrough. But not before things to continually actually get worse until a complete breakdown finally became my real breakthrough. So at that time, I actually did have a few employees. And a week after the wedding, one of them saw what we spent, assumed I was loaded, of course, and immediately asked for a raise. The only person that needed a raise was me. But I didn't say that. I kept the facade going. I would never have thought to tell her that I was barely paying myself and had to cut myself from the last few payrolls because we were in the summer months. And to be frank, there was just no money left over during the summer. I practically held my breath the entire month of August until September 1st rolled around when tuition came in for the next school year. To top it all off, the only way I was actually making money was bartending. And my brand new husband requested that I let go of bartending now that we were married. He told me he would help support us until the business took off and could pay me. Completely relying on him to support us financially was all I needed to light a fire underneath me and turn this thing around. At that moment, I decided enough was enough, and I got really serious about taking my expensive hobby and turning it into a real business. At that time, the book everyone was talking about was The E-Myth Revisited: Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It by Michael Gerber. I had read it a few years earlier, but after that day, I decided I would implement it. Okay, the truth today. Now, it's been over 20 years since the backyard story all began. I've learned some valuable lessons in truly successful business ownership that I want to share with you so you can avoid the same mistakes and be more successful and profitable sooner than I was. Today, I own not one, but two performing arts academies that gross over 7 figures annually. And that's important because clearly I can't be in two places at once. The business now runs without me. No, seriously, I went on maternity leave over 9 years ago and I never came back to the building to work. I exclusively work from my home office and I spend 1 hour per week on a virtual team meeting with my general manager and my marketing manager. The rest of the week, I spend every working hour teaching people how I got out of the mess I was in. Today, you'll never catch me taking a work phone call ever. Not on a weekend, weeknight, or in the middle of the workday. How did I make that happen? To start, I have an amazing team, and we'll get into how I went from being the biggest control freak to letting other people help me a bit. In 2019, I was named the Wisconsin Small Business Person of the Year by the United States Small Business Administration. A few weeks after the pandemic of 2020 hit, Fox Business interviewed me on a national television as a small business owner who was pivoting and having success through unprecedented times. My podcast, Well Oiled Operations, is frequently at the top of the charts with millions of downloads. It's hard to believe how it all began. Why haven't I let go of the studios? It's a question I'm often asked, as my current passion for helping small business owners has quickly gone from a hobby to a multi-million-dollar business. First, the studios don't need me, so they aren't a distraction. Second, I love what we get to do for our community and who we get to be for them. I started that business for a reason, and it grew quickly for a reason, and I still want to be part of that. Even if it just means popping into the recital to watch the adorable 3-year-olds go on stage, or to see the 17-year-old who I can still remember as that little 3-year-old who wouldn't go on stage. So where are you today? When you put systems and processes in place, you get to do a lot more than you can ever imagine. It's actually why I wrote my previous book, The Implementation Code. In that book, I explain how I personally get so much done. Now I want to take that concept even further. And in this book, I'm going to explain how I get businesses to run like well-oiled machines. I can't wait to take you on this journey. But first, let's identify what stage you're at, because you have to know and take ownership of where you are now to get to where you want to be. We've realized that stages of growth actually have very little to do with revenue. We've seen $750,000 businesses that are still stuck in what we see as the early stage. So here's how I explain the stages. Pioneer, you've got new ideas all the time. Goals are constantly changing. Systems are mostly in your head, or you implement them in real time when you need them. There is not a lot of consistency in this beginning stage. You may be on your own, or you have part-time contractors helping you. You probably don't have a ton of consistency in revenue either. Some months are great, some are not. It still ebbs and flows, and it's very unpredictable. Pathfinder. In this stage, you start to find your way, actually gaining traction. You know you've got something here. Your products are more solidified. You know your ideal client, and you're starting to build out your team, adding one at a time. However, you're also starting to notice balls are dropping, and you know you have to put systems in place, but you don't know where to start. Power player. You're in the game, and it feels like you're winning, but it can also feel like you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. You're adding people to your team because you've realized you don't want to do this alone. You're also learning how to delegate, but you're still a work in progress. Sometimes you wish you could go back to the days when it was just you and things were less complex. Let's say, in a nutshell, there's definitely room for improvement. Powerhouse. You're heavily focused on transferring the responsibilities over to your team so you can truly step out of the day-to-day operations. You focus on the things you love and you let everyone else do the rest. Profit margin is healthy. You're paying yourself a solid, consistent paycheck, And this feels like what you've envisioned when you decided to start a business. Now that you've categorized yourself into one of those stages, you're probably wondering, how do I move up? Going from pioneer to pathfinder or power player to powerhouse and higher. That's where well-oiled operations comes in. It's a three-phase model that you rinse and repeat over and over. As you implement the steps, you'll start to climb the ladder. And as you climb the ladder, what worked for you before may not work for you anymore. And this means it's time to work on the model again. Here are the three phases. Phase one, well-oiled strategic planning, gaining clarity and defining a roadmap for where you're heading and where you need to focus. Phase two, well-oiled leadership, building a dream team and enrolling them in the vision. Phase three, well-oiled systems, putting systems and processes into place so that you can step out of the day-to-day operations and do what you love and or focus on the highest paid activities so that you can make more while working less. I believe that good people do great things with money, and we need more people out there making a massive difference. The things I'm going to teach you throughout this book are simple, but not always easy. Getting a business to run without you will take some time. But the alternative is never putting these systems into place with your business, needing you every minute of the day. So stick with me. You'll thank me later when the business is running and you're spending time with your family, forgetting you're even open at that time. Don't worry, I'm going to break down things like no one has ever shown you before. Scaling your business doesn't have to be as messy as you might be making it. Lastly, I want you to step into becoming a powerhouse today. Whether you're there today or not, it doesn't matter. You know you're capable of it. I want you to begin to identify as a powerhouse now. You've got to step into that identity before it ever happens, or it will never happen. You don't become a powerhouse when you hit 7 or 8 figures and magically develop new habits. You need to step into, this is who I am already. I'm going to challenge you in this book, and I want you to ask yourself, what would a powerhouse do? The answer will become clear as you want to. The answer will become clear oh my goodness. The answer will become clear as to what you need to do next. You've got this. Our most successful students have their leadership teams implement all the strategies in this book with them. If you have key players on your team, bring them into this book as you read it. Create your own team book club in which you talk about what you're reading, and then you can assign who is implementing what. Go grab your copy today on Amazon. We are doing some amazing prizes and bonuses for those that grab a copy and leave a review. So make sure you screenshot and DM me once you've done it for some additional bonuses that can't be bought. You can just DM me at Stacy Tuschel or tag me at Stacy Tuschel, and I'm going to DM you those different prizes and bonuses that you're going to get guaranteed by leaving us a review after you've bought the book. All right. I hope you enjoyed the introduction. We've got some incredible content in this book. It is truly a book where if you read it over and over and you implement it, you're going to see your business change. I can't tell you how many people say, Stacy, I wish I could afford to be able to work with you. I love your podcast, but I'd love to take it to the next step and I'm just not there yet. I believe that if you read this book and you implement, you will start making money, okay? Or you'll have your breaking point of realizing you need us to help you get there. And when that's you, and when you've hit that breaking point, well-oiled operations mastery is going to be here for you. All right. So again, my goal is to put this on Amazon, get it as cheap as I can, get it in as many business owners' hands as possible. If you know a small business owner, tell them about this book. Gift them this book, okay? Especially if they have Kindle Unlimited, they could get it for free. Let's get this out there because my goal is to help small business owners get their time back, spend time with their family. It hurts my heart when I hear people saying, I'm working 70 hours, 80 hours, 90 hours. I'm not hanging out with my family. My kids are asking, where is mom? Where is dad? Why aren't we seeing them more? I want to help you build the business you actually envisioned while not losing the life you wanted to create. So again, go to Amazon, search for Well-Oiled Operations, get your book today, leave a review after you've read it. And when you leave a review, tag me on Instagram at Stacy Social or send me a DM of that screenshot. And I'm going to send you some bonuses you cannot purchase on your own. All right. I hope you enjoyed my labor of love. Grab the book. Let me know what you think. I can't wait to hear from you.